the experience affected my life right away. Of course, during the years, I mean, it was very, very difficult. But how happened just the moment I woke up? Because I'm going to tell you, I mean, it wasn't easy the waking up. If you go to my Substack, and which I'm going to put you here, my the Substack. Anyway, I will put it on the I will put it on the comments. However, if you go there and read the three parts from hell, the tunnel, and heaven, I mean, it was a very challenging and difficult and not all beautiful kind of experience. As you might sometimes hear people that say, "Oh, I saw the light and I felt welcome and fantastic." At some point, yes, it was like that. But the very beginning was very difficult. The transition was overwhelming, and it was something that I wasn't expecting the coming back. I wasn't expecting to come back because at the point when I reached that near death, I was ready to cross over. I was very tired. I felt very disappointed with myself, with the universe, with everything. I was between angry and frustrated, and I just wanted out. I was just tired. Uh, and it wasn't about me attempting against myself, but it was more about just surrendering, as if, okay, I'm going to stop fighting. And so when I arrived to that point, and I became aware of everything that I became aware of, well, it was very interesting. And then at the very end, I was pretty much commanded or invited in a way to come back to life. When I say invited, it's not like, hey, would you like to go? No, it's like, okay, it's time to go. And at those times, and in those presents, uh, you don't doubt what's happening. You just go for it and you say, okay, yep, I will play along, and don't take me wrong. Yep. I'm here. I am team player. And you say me to go back, and I'm coming back. So the first thing that happened when I come back to my body, I remember perfectly because it was the sensation of, oh fuck. I mean, honestly, not not because it was whatever. It was painful. My body was on a hospital bed, and it was connected to a ventilator. And I remember clearly how the bed was smaller than me. So my feet were like this, and also remember that the tube was going into my mouth, inside my mouth, was kind of pinching. So it was like this. So it wasn't like this. It was, and it was so painful. And I remember that moment arriving back into my body and just feeling pain. And when I say pain, it was like whatever I was feeling. I can understand that when you're feeling it for a very long time, it feels like, okay, I can cope it, and maybe the brain regulates how much you're feeling, or I don't know. But in that time, in that moment, when I first came back into my body and I felt the of coming and of entering and beginning to switch all the uh, I don't know, electrodes or channels on, I'm beginning to feel what I'm supposed to be feeling, awakened. Um, it was painful, and I remember that moment of, oh fuck, and I remember opening my eyes. And the funny part, it was that the doctors were about to disconnect me. I didn't know that, of course. Uh, but the doctors had been already certain that I wasn't going to survive the whole combination of different influenzas and AIDS and pneumonias and everything. I mean, they just said, this guy is just gone. And they asked for my mother's signature to disconnect me, and they were about to disconnect me. And then, at the moment of kind of pulling all the plugs out, I opened my eyes. And I remember from my part, when I opened my eyes and I see them, I remember looking at them like, with those, obviously I didn't know why they were looking at me like that, but I remember those, like, yes, I know, like, I should have been here, like, I like, there was a part of me that was like, I know, yeah, and like angry and surprised myself as well. Anyway, the after that, the immediate reaction that I had was to disconnect myself from everything. I began to pull out the cables and the tubes and the whatevers. And I remember just feeling this very strong feeling. I was like so charged. I remember, because I remembered every single detail when I woke up, and I felt the pain, and I felt where I was there, and and I remember everything that I've learned in my near death. It was like suddenly, like, I felt like a titan. I felt like a gladiator. I felt like I was ready to command my life and tell everyone to fuck off, and to somehow begin to make my way through whatever was happening in my life at that time. And what was happening was that I had lost, I don't know how many kilos did I lose, but I think there were a lot. Uh, I think there were between 20 and 30 kilos that I lost in those 9 days that I was on a coma. Uh, I didn't have the muscular power or strength to even lift my head from the pillow. So all the muscles in my neck and my chest and my back, they were totally, I don't know, destroyed or whatever. And I remember having to push my head to the front to kind of be able to look around, and then, then back to the pillow. Um, it was that sense of, yes, I can heal myself and I know what to do because I know who I am. That was the piece of information. It was like, I know who I am. It was total authority, total claiming 100% authority. You're not going to tell me what do I need. I know what I need. And I may not have known what I needed in terms of medical treatment or whatever, but there was a part of me that claimed I could, I did. And of course, all of this also combines with the morphines and all the chemicals that they are putting through during an induced coma and all that stuff. And I did put it on a balance, because there was a part of me when I woke up that I thought, yeah, obviously there is a part that is quite mad, because the hallucinations, they took another level. And so I spent all these years trying to peel away what was real and what was not. And it hasn't been easy, to be honest. It hasn't been easy, because, especially in my case, back then, all that I cared was to heal myself. And I didn't know back then what healing meant. I thought that healing was the absence of disease, or the absence of a diagnosis, or the absence of pain. And I thought that it was an on and off switch, that something would happen at some point, but until that thing happened, until that thing clicked, I would not know if I'm cured or not. Does that make sense? And so when I come out of the near death and I wake up in my bed, And I have all the doctors parading in front of me, looking at me like, how the F do you actually survived? I mean, they were so certain. There was, the thing is, uh, how do you say it? In doctors, in paper, I didn't have any chance for survival. I mean, that is the truth. On paper, I had no chance for survival. I was just wasting away on that bed during a pandemic of the influenza virus in Mexico. And doctors were saying, okay, this guy is not going to survive. We need the bed. This is an emergency, and let's move on. I mean, we don't have time to wonder if he's going to recover in X amount of time. I mean, this has to be a quick decision. And and I totally understand. I totally understand because at that point my immune system was destroyed, and that's probably one of the things that makes the near death real to me. Forget about the hallucinations when I woke up. Forget about what I thought and what I say. Forget about the attitude, uh, the fact that I didn't die. That part, that little bit, that doctors 100% were sure that I wasn't going to survive that. And not only did I survive, I mean, I was so charged that in a matter of 2 weeks, I discharged myself from the hospital. They say I couldn't have a normal life because my lungs had been uh, something like 95% damaged by the pneumonia, and it was full of scars, my lungs, and my immune system was totally destroyed. I mean, like I had no immune system supposedly, and there was I was just a time bomb walking, and they say, "Okay, yep, you are saying that you are so full of energy and charge, and you know what to do and which medication to take and which one not." But the fact was that I had no strength. Honestly, when I saw myself in the mirror the first time after the near death, I honestly looked as someone coming out from the Holocaust. One of, I mean, that immense, that's slim or thin. I mean, without any muscle mass. It was horrendous. I remember my ass. I mean, you normally have the bomb, no? But my ass was concave, was in the other direction, was going in, not going out. And I remember thinking, what happened to me the last time? I mean, if I show you pictures of the before and after, I mean, I will put them here, and I mean, you would say, what actually happened during those 9 days? And um, I did manage to pull through. I was so determined. I mean, the thing is, if you read the stories, if you read especially the second and the third parts of the near death, the tunnel and heaven, I mean, it would be difficult not to come back with strength, with faith, with authority, with certainty, with clarity. I mean, you would definitely come back like, and I was like that. I was so certain, and doctors were like, "Nope, you're not gonna make it. I'm so sorry." And I discharged myself 2 or 3 weeks after waking up. I went back home, and I remember being so determined to get up and start building strength. I remember getting up and hardly being able to hold myself on my 2 feet and holding on to the chair or to the wall and trying to do whatever exercise I could obviously, the first thing I had to do, I needed to learn to breathe again. I know it sounds kind of stupid, but if you have pneumonia and there is 95% of damage in the lungs, you have very little capacity, which makes every single movement of your body extremely difficult. Like just being sitting up on your bed can be difficult. Just lying down can be difficult. I mean, you need oxygen or stuff like that. I didn't have anything like that. So the first thing that I did was I remember calling my mother and said, "Mom, I need you to help me to learn to breathe. I need you to help me breathe again." And she was like, "All right." Like, okay, how are we gonna do that? I don't remember in my very certain mind that was so enlightened and brightened from the near death. I said, I need you to help me breathe with the mantra. Uh, what was it? On So Hang? No, 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 that wasn't So Hang. It was, I remember, because at this point, what was it? It was, uh, it was four times. Sase Sohum. Sata Nama Sase Sohum. That was it. Sata Nama Sase Sohum. Obviously, right now I can do it very quick and I can go deep. But back then, I remember doing. I mean, it was difficult, and from not being able to do one cycle, I began to train. I began to focus. I began to be determined to come through. And I remember it took me about 2 to 3 months because by April, it was April? I think it was April. By April 2012, I mean, I had the near death. I fell into the coma on the 8th of January 2012. So by the 18, by the 16, uh, I woke up. So around April, I still have the details there because the first thing I wanted to do when I was ready, I wanted to share the fucking experience. I mean, I wanted to go out there and tell the world, yeah, look at me. This is what happened. This is what I cannot believe all this shit that I went through, and somehow I want to share it with you. I just want to tell you the story. I just want to tell you exactly what happened because it's amazing. And I mean, and you would say, well, yes, amazing. How the fucking amazing this thing is that I'm here. I'm here. I'm healthy. I'm alive. That was the craziest, but that was my business card. That was like a yep, yep, yep. What is this? I was like, well, look at me. I have that certainty. I have I have no doubt because I was there. I wasn't supposed to be there. I was supposed to be dead. I mean, that was what had supposed to happen. I mean, I didn't even wanted to come back. I remember if you read the last parts of the near death in heaven, you can read. I mean, I was ready. Take me to the other side, and and in that crossing, having to come back was like, really? But once I came back, it was like, whoa! I came back. I mean, this is possible, and so I did my first workshop as soon as I managed to put myself together and feel strong. I began to create and promote a workshop called Ascension Among Friends. That was in Spanish because I was in Mexico. Ascensión entre amigos. And I remember, I will put some pictures here. And I remember just feeling so charged. And it was like, uh, I have everything that I need to tell the world that the other side actually exists. I really like, because that was the biggest question that I had in my mind was, what's all this thing about God or the universe or angels and energies and all that stuff? And because like with the past that I had with the childhood and the way my life developed, I was certain. He said, there cannot be any God or watching us, because if he's watching, oh, little f, you're gonna pay it. You're gonna pay me all this suffering. Of course, then in the near death, I understood why was all the suffering there and how it actually benefits not only my life but the whole evolution of this planet and consciousness itself. Because even for the Grand Master, uh, he needs us. He needs us to experience ourselves fully and completely. Because without us, it doesn't have the whole information of itself. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like, well, if I create a sun, and I want to feel what a sun feels like to be, well, I need to allow the sun to have all the experience that a son can have: the birth, the growth, the challenges, the growing old, and death itself. And then I will have different little bits, and everyone will give me some information about myself. It's like, for example, I go to the gym, and I train this arm, and I want to know how strong this arm can be. So this, I know, for example, now that I go to the gym and I can pull very strong, but then my arm, if I go too much, it will get injured, and if it gets injured, then I have to repair it, and if I have to repair it, then I have to go in through the process of believing that I'm weak, and then I have to somehow get to the point when I see that I can actually heal myself, that I can actually repair it, even if I went beyond the point of no return, like I've done many times. And I think, well, you know something, even though I have done really big damage, I can still recover, not only because I will use my mm, mm, physical body to do it, but because I also have a mind. And because I also now know that I have an awareness, a consciousness that intentionally can create a lot of change and transformation. And the more we believe in it, the more we get evidence. And the more we get evidence, the more we feel reassured that we can do it, and we continue to grow. For example, I know now that this experience of being human is like this minute of what really is. I mean, I think that we are just starting to discover what truly means to be human. But I think that humans, for what I have dreamt and experienced and different uh, states and circumstances, I think humans have potentials like the gods of the past. You know, these giants that created great pyramids, that created great structures, that had an amazing technology, that can move from dimensions and can move through time and space, and that have a more practical use on the universe. They are not just consumers, they are true architects of the whole structure of our whole reality. But we are still kind of learning to heal ourselves, so we cannot yet pretend that we can heal the world alone. uh, when we are in so much pain individually, I think this process right now, what we are seeing about pains and difficulties and challenges and wars and dramas and pains and pandemics and disease and blah 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 blah, cancers and all that stuff, is just the beginning. It's truly just the beginning, because right now we are still disempowered. Like I cannot heal myself. Poor me, I got cancer. Which I did, by the way. I'm not talking about something that I haven't experienced myself. Uh, but when we feel like I went to the gym and or I had an abusive relationship. I was I don't know run over by a bus. No, no, thank God, no. But whatever happens, and suddenly your life changes dramatically, and you feel like, damn, this change of circumstances just ruined my life. I remember having a friend that was a surfer, and he had the whole youth, the beauty, the muscles, the charisma. All the girls were after him, and he knew it. And he must have a big dunk, because somehow, I mean, he had the attitude, and he had the the self belief, the arrogance. He was cocky as hell. And one day, during one of his movements of let me stretch and crack my bones, clack clack, and then clack and clack, and when it clacked, he damaged one of his discs in the vertebrae, and the pain was excruciating. 10 years later, he was still dreaming from the life he had before. He couldn't accept that he had such a bad luck in life, that he had everything, that he had the most beautiful girl, that he had the most beautiful lifestyle, that he couldn't have expected anything else from the world because he had it all. And suddenly, as he had it all, suddenly it was taken away. And I understand those points. I understand the loss and the grief when you feel you had it all, when you feel like everything is it's owned, like you deserve it. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to feel comfortable within your own skin. You feel you deserve to belong to the ones who create great changes in this world, or who simply enjoy their life to the maximum. You deserve to be not in pain. You deserve to feel loved and accepted and cherished and acknowledged. And I mean, you deserve all that. But sometimes we don't have it. Sometimes it's taken away. And sometimes we don't know why. And we feel this injustice. And we feel like this universe owes us, because you fucker, you took away my happiness. And I was supposed to be happy. I didn't ask to come to this world, and I was put into this world, and suddenly I was just treated miserably. And I understand it, because I was one of them. That was exactly my anger towards the universe. Why did you put me on a game board without giving me the instructions, and where everything is against me, where the pain is beyond anything that I can understand or control or assimilate, or I don't know, and where it feels totally and utterly alone? Why? And why do I have to just keep playing the game? Just because you say so? No, excuse me, but I need answers. And that's why I went for those answers. So I understand. However, and this is the point that I want to make with all this, you never know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know it, what seems like injustice can bring you down. But the thing is, you say, well, if I don't know it, how am I going to know it if I don't know it? Well, the thing is, there is a part of you that actually knows. Because your mind, I call it the mortal mind, obviously doesn't know what it doesn't know because it was born whenever you were born. But there is another mind that is kind of connected to a network that has all the information that you need to know about you. So, how do you access that information? First, you have to, I was going to say believe, but it's more like acknowledged because it's not about doing something. It's more like an attitude of saying, okay, like it's like trust. Yeah, that's the word. You have to trust that that connection actually exists. And you have to be humble enough to say, well, I know it exists because it has given me hunches. It has given me, sometimes I feel, I don't know what I know this, but I know it. And sometimes you cannot explain things. And you know that there is something more than just what we can see and touch. And if you're lucky enough, and if you're open enough, you have a lot of these psychic or coincidences or awakenings or visions or whatever you want to call them, and 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 the certainty and the evidence that you have built throughout your life can give you the can give you the opportunity to build a case to say, so if I can actually uh, begin to know the why and the what for, or simply begin to step out of my own pain and look out and realize where is the bigger picture in this, you might. I say you might because all depends on you and how determined. Because people, I see it all the time. I really want to help myself. I really want to heal. Yes, I want to heal. Tell me what to do. Oh, you have to do this and this meditation. Do this meditation. Focus on yourself. Regulate your emotions. I do it once. I might do it twice. And then by the third time, it's like, no, fuck it. No, this is way too much. I cannot do 3 breathings every morning. Who the F do you think I am? Breathing deep, consciously, just because you say so? And it's no, I want to just lie down and be nothing. And that's the thing. I mean, it's very difficult to change when you haven't built evidence. When you build evidence, you have communication. When you have communication, you know that if you go this way, I mean, the action and reaction kind of law, I mean, there begins to make sense and there begins to light up certain parts of your brain and heart and bodies, and you're going, I know this actually works because I know that when I do it, I feel calmer, clearer, more connected. I feel aligned. I feel like I can enjoy myself. I can be ah, at peace with myself. My mind begins to stop fighting because it always feels like a yes, you want, no, I don't want. Yes, I want, no, I don't want. Let's go there, no, then let's go not there. And it's like a constant inner conflict that never stops. And suddenly, when you begin to breathe deep, oh, yes, that feels good. But the whole thing is not just about feeling good, it's about being practical. Because a lot of people say to me, oh, yes, I tried meditation and it's not working for me. When they say that's not working for me, I mean, obviously I have to, okay, I mean, I acknowledge your position. Absolutely. I totally understand it. I've been there. And I know that from where you are right now, that's how it may look. However, if you are just a tiny bit wise or open minded, you realize that a lot of people are making a lot of changes and transformations in their lives through being more open and changing certain habits. Very tiny, minute changes that create huge changes in the long term, like breathing deep at least 3 times every morning. You say, well, how is it going to breathe deep 3 times every morning? It could have changed my life. It may not change your life that, but that is the beginning. Because when 3 breaths become a normal, you realize that 3 breaths is nothing. And then you might want to do 3 more. And when you do 3 more breaths, you might want to do probably 12. And then you just realize at some point that you're meditating for 3 minutes. And then you go for 10 and 9. And then you go to a yoga retreat. And then you go to the beach and concentrate and have an amazing realization about your life. And you go back to your family and say, I'm sorry for hurting you. I mean, I'm sorry for hurting you back. And suddenly life begins to kind of just click, 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 like fall in place. And the more it falls in place, the more you go, wow, I really enjoy being me. I really enjoy now my life because it's not that much struggle. Maybe I still have a job that I'm not 100% in love with, or maybe I still have a low income, or maybe I still don't know what I want to do with my life, and maybe I still have the disease that I was diagnosed with, and maybe I still have uh, all the blah 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 blahs. Maybe yes, of course you do, but there is a little piece of evidence that begins to build, and when it begins to build, you put it like Tetris, and the more evidence you build, the more the more structure that begins to feel solid and real, and you create your own reality. And this is something that's kind of interesting because now I feel that what you believe, what you know about yourself, creates your own truth. It creates your own version of you. It doesn't matter where you are or how you are doing. You can always have a very unique and internal and individual universe exclusively for you. You don't have to make your universe the universe for everybody. You don't have to make everyone agree with your universe, with your beliefs and your evidences and your wants and dislikes. And no, that's for you to keep it and respect it and honor it. Yes, but we all have. You probably have heard that every mind and every head is a world. We all have that. We all have that ability to create our own universe within ourselves. So the first step when you begin to build that evidence and when you begin to see that there is no injustice in this world, that you can actually begin to do something with whatever it is that you have, because there is one law that I've learned of the universe, and it was very difficult to accept. And this law says the universe will always, and this is what I'm saying, always uh, provide what you need. Always. If you have it, you need it. If you don't have it, you don't need it. You may want it, and you can work for it and go for it. That's absolutely fine. But for free, I mean, like given, is what you need. All your needs are covered. And you say, that's not true. Because honestly, I cannot pay my credit card. I cannot pay, I can hardly pay my rent. I cannot go and give my children a good education. I need I don't know, a treatment for my whatevers. And I need a lot of stuff and I don't have it. I need security and I don't have it. So let's go back to the law. I will give you, the universe will provide everything that you need. And there is a part that I don't like to say because it's like either you like it or not. And that is the kind of the tricky part. You say, what? It's like, oh, I thought you were giving me a present. And like, oh, is that a present? Or are you just taking the piece out of me? What do you say? So you're going to give me everything I need. Either I like it or not. So what does that mean? What do you have? Well, I have this and this and that. Well, that's what you need. But I need that. Do you have it? No, I don't have it. Then you don't need it. And it's kind of confusing. Let's talk about something more real. Let's talk about, for example, pain. Who needs pain? Nobody say, nobody. But we have it. And it's there. And it's persistent. And so if we apply the law, and it's like, okay, so are you telling me that this pain that I'm feeling is exactly what I need right now? And the answer from above, yes, you do. And like, why? I mean, it's like, why do I need this? Why cannot just live without it? Why do I have to go through pain? And why? I mean, what can I do with it? And this is something that I've learned as well in the process. Is everything in this reality is dual. So it has two faces, like a coin. Do we have a coin here? No. Let's imagine that this is a coin. So you have this side and you have this side. So you have this and that. So let's imagine that this is pain. So the pain is giving you the alarm. That's the pain is painful. Yes. But then you look on the other side and it gives you information. Oh. So if I, instead of trying to kill it, no, I don't want the pain. Instead of trying to kill the pain, you actually go and look into it and say, okay, so you little bitch, okay, yes, okay, so you are here because of what? Okay, what? I cannot read. So you say that, okay, so there is a part of me that I can actually learn from this pain. All right. So and what's to learn? And what I've learned is that pain has two sides, as already mentioned. One can kill you, as you can kill it. I mean, it's like this kind of conflict. You may not want it because it's very painful, and I'm very sorry. But there is an opportunity. And the opportunity might not be to get rid of it. If we have cancer, sometimes we cannot get rid of it. It's a little bit either too late or it's not the purpose of that cancer to ever leave, but is maybe is about taking it with you, and that can be a very difficult part, because maybe what we need to understand is that as it can kill that pain, it can also heal. And what I didn't understand until very recently, few years back, a lot years after the near death, was that there is a choice. We can actually choose. How am I going to approach the pain? I'm going to let it kill me, or I'm going to try to kill it, and we're going to go into war, or I'm going to learn from it and allow it to heal me. And then I think is, what does heal means? But I think that's for another video. I simply wanted to give you this first what could it be? This first episode of what came after the near death experience. A lot came. I mean, I have stories, and if you have questions, if you have disagreements, if you say no, let's talk about this, I invite you with all my heart and my open mind and open heart for you to come forward and let's talk about it. And maybe if you want, join me on this podcast, and let's talk about it. Let's just talk about it, and let's see where it goes. And I want to thank you. Thank you from the bottle the bottom of my life, of my heart, and invite you to continue to stay connected to yourself first. Stay connected to yourself. Be faithful to yourself. Be a lover to yourself. Treat yourself with kindness. Treat yourself with devotion. Imagine that you are totally and utterly in love with yourself. How would you treat that someone that would you think you will fall in love with, or you are falling in love with? Imagine that you can treat yourself exactly the same. That even the biggest and the smallest of errors and imperfections are seen as wonderful and beautiful. I invite you to give it a try, and I give you also all my information that should come somewhere here, or it's not in the comments, and get in touch, and I'll see you next time. I think I did close the loop. I think so. Till next time. Satnam. Namaste. Hasta la próxima. Chao.